What if I told you that some of the biggest disappointments in your life didn't happen because people betrayed you, but because you misunderstood human nature? Most people spend their entire lives expecting loyalty, fairness, and gratitude, only to be shocked when reality teaches them otherwise. But thousands of years ago, the Stoics understood something uncomfortable. Human beings rarely act the way we hope they will. And the sooner you accept these truths, the harder you become to manipulate, deceive, or disappoint. In this video, we're uncovering 5 brutal truths about human nature that most people ignore, but the ancient Stoics embraced. Some of these truths may challenge what you believe about relationships, respect, and even the people closest to you. Because once you see human nature clearly, you stop taking things personally and start mastering yourself. And trust me, the 5th truth is one that almost everyone learns too late. Have you ever wondered why people who promised they'd always be there suddenly disappear when you need them the most? It's not always because they're cruel. It's because human nature is centered around self-interest. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology did. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that every person acts according to what they believe benefits them. People protect their own comfort, chase their own desires, and solve their own problems first. And if helping you conflicts with those priorities, most will choose themselves. That sounds harsh, but it's also liberating. Because the moment you stop expecting others to think about you as much as you think about them, disappointment loses its power over you. Think about it. Everyone is fighting battles you can't see. Everyone is worried about their own future, reputation, fears, and ambitions. Even when people hurt you, they're often acting out of self-preservation, not because you are the center of their world. The Stoics never expected people to put them first. They focused on mastering themselves instead. And once you truly understand this, you stop begging for attention, approval, and loyalty, and start building a life that doesn't depend on them. Most people like to believe that relationships are built purely on love, loyalty, or good intentions. But the Stoics saw something deeper and far more uncomfortable. Every relationship, whether friendship, romance, or business, survives because both people receive something of value. Sometimes it's support. Sometimes it's companionship. Sometimes it's trust, respect, or simply the feeling of being understood. And when that value disappears, many relationships begin to change. That doesn't mean people are fake. It means human beings naturally seek what benefits their lives. Seneca warned that many people call someone a friend while fortune smiles. But when circumstances change, so do their commitments. Think about how quickly some people vanish when you can no longer help them, entertain them, or make them feel good about themselves. Suddenly, the promises become excuses, and the loyalty they spoke of becomes silence. Harsh, perhaps, but understanding this truth protects you from unrealistic expectations. The Stoics never measured relationships by words. They measured them by consistency, especially during difficult times. Because true character isn't revealed when life is easy. It's revealed when there's nothing to gain, and someone still chooses to stay. Why do some people command attention the moment they walk into a room, while others spend years desperately trying to be liked? Because respect isn't something people hand out for free. It's something they respond to. The Stoics understood this better than most. They knew that admiration doesn't come from demanding it, begging for it, or trying to please everyone. It comes from character. People may appreciate kindness, but they respect strength. They may enjoy your company, but they admire consistency. And they pay attention to those who stand by their principles, even when it's unpopular. Marcus Aurelius never chased approval. He focused on becoming a man worthy of respect, knowing that reputation follows conduct, not the other way around. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The more desperately you seek respect, the less of it you often receive. People naturally trust those who respect themselves, those who set boundaries, those who keep their word, those who remain calm under pressure. Because respect isn't built by what you say about yourself. It's built by what you repeatedly do. And in a world obsessed with being liked, the Stoics chose something far more valuable. They chose to become worthy. Have you ever noticed how some people cheer for you? Right up until you start doing better than they are? At first, they support your dreams. They encourage your ambitions. They tell you they want to see you succeed. But the moment your success becomes real, something changes. The compliments become quieter. The enthusiasm fades. And sometimes, the people you expected to celebrate you the most become strangely distant. The Stoics understood why. Human beings naturally compare themselves to others. And when someone else rises, it can force people to confront their own fears, insecurities, and unfulfilled ambitions. Your success becomes a mirror, and not everyone likes what they see. Seneca warned against seeking validation from the crowd because envy is one of the oldest forces in human nature. Many people admire success from a distance, but struggle to celebrate it when it comes from someone close to them. This doesn't mean you should become bitter or suspicious. It means you should stop expecting universal applause, because real supporters don't feel threatened by your growth. They feel inspired by it. And perhaps the greatest lesson the Stoics taught is this: never make yourself smaller just to make others comfortable. Those who truly care about you won't resent your light. They'll be grateful to see you shine. What if the person you show to the world isn't the real you? And what if the same is true for almost everyone around you? The Stoics understood a truth that many people spend their entire lives avoiding. Human beings crave acceptance. We want to belong. We want to be liked. And because of that, we often hide parts of ourselves behind carefully crafted masks. People laugh when they're hurting. They pretend to agree when they secretly disagree. They act confident while battling insecurity. They say what others want to hear, not always what they truly believe. And the frightening part is that some people wear these masks for so long that they forget who they really are. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself not to live according to the opinions of the crowd. Because once you start performing for others, you slowly become a stranger to yourself. Look closely, and you'll see it everywhere. The friend who hides loneliness behind jokes. The successful person hiding anxiety. The people pleaser who sacrifices their own happiness just to avoid rejection. That's why the Stoics valued authenticity over popularity, because fitting in may win you approval, but it can cost you your identity. And in the end, there's a question only you can answer. If everyone stopped watching tomorrow, who would you really be? These truths may sound harsh. In fact, many people spend their entire lives trying to avoid them. But the Stoics never saw these realities as reasons to become bitter. They saw them as reasons to become wiser. Because when you understand that people naturally prioritize themselves, you stop taking every disappointment personally. When you realize that respect must be earned, you stop chasing approval. When you accept that not everyone will celebrate your success, you stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. And when you recognize that most people wear masks, you become less interested in appearances and more committed to authenticity. The goal was never to control human nature. The goal was to understand it. Because the better you understand others, the less power they have over your peace. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson Stoicism offers. You don't become strong by expecting people to be different. You become strong by seeing reality clearly and mastering yourself anyway. Because in the next part, we'll uncover 5 more uncomfortable truths about human behavior that most people ignore. But the Stoics never did. If these truths challenge the way you see people, remember, this is only the beginning. Because human nature runs much deeper than most of us realize. And in part 2, we're going to uncover 5 more uncomfortable truths that the Stoics understood centuries ago, but that most people still ignore today. We'll explore why actions matter more than words, why people remember feelings more than facts, why so many blindly follow the crowd, and why seeking approval from others can quietly destroy your peace. These lessons aren't meant to make you cynical. They're meant to make you impossible to manipulate and much harder to disappoint. So if you found value in this video, make sure you're subscribed, because part 2 is coming next, and some of the most powerful Stoic lessons are still ahead. Until then, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. Asterisk, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Asterisk, and as always, focus less on changing others and more on mastering yourself.